coverage is pleased to welcome you live to the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee, side of Bristol International Raceway, and scene of today's NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Goodies 250. It is a beautiful day in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Partly cloudy skies, temperature 68 degrees, and just a slight chance of rain. After 7 of 28 events on the $6.5 million tour, just 90 points separate the top 5. And yet, for the first time since February this year, a new name atop the list. Norwalk, Connecticut driver Randy LaJoie leads Kenny Wallace by 37 points. Former point leader Terry Labonte is third. Then comes Hermie Sadler and Robert Presley. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch. A couple of weeks ago, we brought you exciting NASCAR racing action from Darlington, perhaps NASCAR's oldest and most challenging super speedway. Today, we're here at a track where drivers will tell you is probably the most physically demanding short track in all of America, the high-banked Bristol International Raceway. Remember a few years ago, Rusty Wallace cut a tire here, somersaulted his car 7 times, end over end out of turn 4. Back then, they were running laps in the 17-second category. Today, those laps in 15 seconds. Just think, 15 seconds for a half mile, turn some 3 stories high, banked steeper than Daytona or Talladega. It's fast, it's tight, and oh yes, it can be treacherous. In fact, one driver said it's like flying jet fighters in a gymnasium. When we come back, we'll meet those fighter pilots in the form of our starting lineup to take a closer look at the racetrack that's caused this whole area to be nicknamed Thunder Valley. So stay with us. Take a look at our Suzuki starting lineup. 36 cars will start today. Mark Martin, brand new track record, starts inside of row 1. You've heard from him alongside veteran Winston Cup driver Harry Gant. Back in row 2, David Green. Never won here, but finished second back in 91. And Ricky Craven, last week's winner. Back to row 3, Rodney Combs driving for Richard Petty, his best qualifying ever in Busch Series competition. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Hermie Sadler. Back in row 4, Kenny Wallace. He should be strong here on the high banks. And Jim Bound, another West Coast driver, starting in 8th spot. As you look at the rest of our starting lineup, guys, some very, very good cars starting toward the back of the field.
Well, as they mentioned, less than half a second separates first and last. So, yes, there are a lot of good cars back in the field. This is a tough track to pass on. Larry Pearson starting back there. He's been running awfully good this year. Robert Presley, of course, runs good on this track. And you just look almost any road that you look at, good drivers.
And some good race cars went home. 10 race cars unable to qualify. Had to go home, and not race.
And Morgan Shepherd, the winningest driver in Busch competition ever at this racetrack, has 4 wins. He is starting back in 31st position. In fact, Morgan Shepherd there starting inside of row 16 alongside of Dave Resendez. We're getting set for green flag racing action. 250 laps, $227,273 up for grabs. Glad to have you with us here at Thunder Valley, Bristol International Raceway. Martin leads the charge early on. Martin in a Ford, Gant in a Chevrolet. There's Craven also in a Chevrolet, the car number 2.
Those 3 cars have opened up about a 2-car length, 3-car length maybe over David Green. He's got himself in a good position there. No one close to him, front or rear. There he is. You can see him there sort of by himself.
And Martin, whose car has been so dominant the last couple of years in NASCAR National Racing, Harry Gant not letting him get away.
We got an in-car camera inside Mark Martin's Ford Thunderbird, the Winn-Dixie in-car. Take a look at what Mark sees in the rear-view mirror. That is Harry Gant, former winner here. In fact, Gant's last short track win came here in this spring race at Bristol 2 years ago, April of 1992.
If the racetrack looks a little bit light to you folks, it is concrete. A couple years ago, the folks here at the Bristol International Speedway put down concrete.
They kept having problems with the asphalt. They repaved it several times, and it just simply wouldn't hold together at the high speeds they run here. Here's a good battle. Robert Presley in the car number 99.
Derek Cope in that 82 car right in front of him, Ned. And Jason Keller right behind them.
That's 12th, 13th, and 14th position. Derek Cope driving the Ron Zuccone, car number 82, that was scheduled to be driven by Mike Walls, who was injured earlier this week in a practice accident up here in Bristol, Tennessee.
And that 17 car, that's 17 Jeff Green, not 57 Jason Keller. Pearson trying to get alongside Jeff Green, can't make the pass. The 17 car is owned by Michael Waltrip, the Winston Cup driver and a good friend of Jeff Green's.
They grew up together in Owensboro, Kentucky, and Jeff went off to run short tracks at Nashville, Tennessee. He was a 1991 short track late model stock car champion up in Nashville. Here's a battle.
Kevin LePage, the 71 car, and Dirk Stevens from out in the Northwest in the black 15, and Dirk's on the outside and going backwards right now as Randy LaJoy pulls alongside.
Yeah, you watch the train go by. He's up there and he can't find a place to get back in line, and the lower groove is the preferred one. Now he might can get back in there. Let's see if he does. Yes, he does, right in front of the car number 16.
Chad Chaffin.
Back up front, Ricky Craven now beginning to put a little pressure on Harry Gann as Mark Martin pulls away by about 3, making 4 car lengths. And Craven is hugging the rear of Gann Chevrolet, the Mannheim Auctions car. Last week's winner at Hickory Speedway, and Craven, the 1991 Grand National North Series champion, had not won on the overall tour until last week at Hickory. Boy, was he impressive on the short track there.
He sure was, and was very happy. Isn't it great to see at Victory Lane when the driver is as happy as Ricky Craven was last Sunday afternoon?
Well, he's known all along since he came south to make a career in NASCAR racing that he could do it himself, and he's doing it right now, moving around Harry Gann. What a great move. Ricky Craven moves up into second place. He has a lot of confidence, but he has a lot of talent to back it up, too.
Now, his sponsor is DuPont Finishes. Now, they sponsor him in Busch Series competition. In Winston Cup, they sponsor Jeff Gordon, who, by the way, is spotting for Ricky Craven today. Gordon up on top of the truck, telling Ricky what's in front of him, which is only one car, and what's behind him. As we have a car brush the wall.
Chad Chaffin got it down in turn 1 a little bit too hard, went up, brushed the wall, and keeps on going. And we see some smoke, so he has knocked a quarter panel in on the tire.
That's exactly what it is, being the right rear tire rubbing on that car, so he'll need to come in very quickly here. You don't need to stay out there and run very long because there's not much rubber on the outside. Here's trouble on the back straight. Randy LaJoy has spun around.
And Chad Chapman has spun again coming off the second corner. I don't know if he blew the tire or he just backed, if he hit the brakes to avoid LaJoy.
He hit the wall a ton over there. You see that red car. That is the Mike Day-owned car out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. In fact, Chapman is out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. A 31W Insulation Chevrolet. Only his 5th Busch Grand National start, and he has never been here before. And it will be a short first-time visit to Bristol International Raceway for that young man. Tough break for the 25-year-old driver from Tennessee. Here again is what happened just moments ago.
There we see the smoke coming out off the right rear. And he comes off the corner and just loses control. It looks like maybe the
tire went flat.
He comes down the left front, Jerry. You're right. Hit the wall extremely hard. Some severe damage to the left front portion of the car.
Well, there he sits, a young man who was able to get a qualifying effort in the field. Here's our remote-controlled cam in turn 2, coming right at it.
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't there with that camera.
I'm glad it is remote-controlled. I could see Chuck Mills trying to jump out of the way of that car coming at him. Some of our camera guys on the roof. Fortunately, that one is a remote-controlled, we call a RoboCam. As we're under caution here for the first time today at Bristol International Raceway. Top 10 in the early laps here. Martin, Craven, Harry Gann, David Green, and Rodney Combs. 6 through 10. After 17 laps, Sadler, Wallace, Jim Bound, Tommy Houston, and Jason Keller. Back with more short track racing action, NASCAR Busch Grand National style from Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee. We welcome you back to Bristol, Tennessee, here for the Goodies 250. We're under caution for the first time today. That's the reason right there. The young man from Goodlettsville, Tennessee, Chad Chapin, had some problems, and here's exactly what happened to him just moments ago.
Well, he hit the wall a little bit earlier, Jerry, and there was smoke coming from the tire, and evidently the tire went down, and boy, he came in hard against the wall.
That's our robotic camera from Fletcher Industries. They're positioned out of turn 2, and there it is. Camera's operated remotely. Remote operated camera, and I'm glad we didn't have a cameraman there. You see the tire mark where that camera, where the car hit right by the camera. Remember a few years ago, that's where Michael Waltrip hit. Now watch the car number 20.
There we see he's starting to spin. And who is that right behind? Is that 59? I don't know. What car? There's 23 car is right behind. There's a car between the 20 and the 23. Now, the 23 also has some damage. Chad Little has some damage to his car. As a matter of fact, he is behind the wall and with John Kernan.
Benny, Chad's crew is working to replace the radiator. When he first came in, they thought they were getting off lucky with just the hood being pushed up. But now, Chad, they're having to go to work on the radiator, replace it. You're 10th in points. You guys need to get back out there.
Yeah, just welcome to Bristol type of deal. You know, we try to be real patient today and have a good run. And just one of those, everyone slowed down. And I got in the, hit the guy in front of me square in the rear end and folded the hood up, and we've ended up putting a hole in the radiator. And so we'll just have to get it changed and go out there for the rest of the day and run for points for, of course, Harris Teeter and everybody. And just, it's Bristol, things happen so fast here. And just luckily the car's not hurt real bad.
Thank you, Chad. That's what a lot of drivers, especially the young drivers, guys, have said their concern was here is fast 15.5-second laps in the race. Things happen so fast here that they have to look so far ahead. It's almost like playing one of those high-intensity video games.
Indeed, John. Chad Little sitting down there. There's Carl Simmons holding the caution flag. Little's car, of course, owned by Mark Rippon and Greg Pollux. Remember the great run he had at Daytona to open the year on ESPN from 38 to 3rd in the Goodies 300. We're under caution for the first time today. Tremendous crowd on hand here in Thunder Valley to enjoy NASCAR racing. And back in Bristol, Tennessee, green flag waves to Mark Martin as he leads them down out of turns 2 into turns 3 and 4. It is Martin, Craven, Gant, and then the car number 44 up David Green.
The 17 car, Jeff Green, is smoking, and he has the Clabber Girls sponsorship on the car this weekend. Stevie Reeves crashed in practice and had to go home, and they moved the sponsorship over to Jeff Green, and his car is smoking. So
maybe it's baby powder coming out of the trunk.
That could be.
Baking powder. I'm
yes.
Sorry. Car number 17. Stevie Reeves, by the way, as Benny mentioned, left yesterday. When you tag the wall here in practice, you don't have much of a chance to fix it. 4 of the top 5 rookie competitors in Busch hit the wall in practice on Friday.
We see the 17 car going up high. That's Larry Pearson, the 92 car, the Stanley Tools car on the inside of him. So on the restart, reckon he could have overwound it, Ned?
I don't know. He could have, but that was just as it came off the second turn after the green flag had fallen.
Jeff Green's best finish ever in Busch competition came here in this race a year ago where he got a top 5. Driving the car owned by Mike Day. It's a Wayne Day.
There's Robert Presley and Derek Cope. They are having themselves a whale of a race. As we go back up front to the race for 3rd place, as Harry Gant, the green 7, and David Green, the red and on yellow 44 Slim Jim car.
And Dennis Setzer has gone into pits on the backstretch.
It was black flagged by NASCAR, Ned, for some reason.
Might have been on the restart. There were a lot of cars that were juggling around up front there that could have been the reason for it. And he was one of those in a pack of cars. I said up front, it was back in the pack a little bit.
Well, he's back on the racetrack, so you're probably 100% correct.
And the car number 17 we told you was smoking a minute ago. John Kernan is checked in. John?
Jerry, I just talked to Ronnie Silver, who's acting as crew chief on Jeff Green's effort. He tells me it's no major problem. He believes that they just got the oil tank a little bit too filled. He said there's nothing really to worry about.
Well, that was Jeff Green. They're talking about the car number 17, but David Green, his older brother, is right now locked in a pretty tight battle for 3rd spot. David Green driving the car number 44, owned by Bobby Labonte, owns this race team, the Slim Jim Chevrolet, and he's working over one of the best when it comes to the short track. Harry Gant, at 54 years of age, in Manheim Auctions Chevrolet.
And as we watch this, the 31 car, Tom Peck, has slowed. And tell you what, David Green giving hell he wants, Ned.
Yes, he is. He's really making a good run at it. Dan mentioned he's on the Hoosier tires as we see the car number 31 of Tom Peck coming into the pits. Here's Robert Presley. Might be able to make the pass this time. He has that inside line on Derek Cope, and here comes Larry Pearson right with him. Boy, he was there to take advantage of it. Once Presley got on the inside. How many more might go by?
That's 12th, 13th, and 14th as the car number 99, Robert Presley, takes the 12 spot away. Let's check in with Kyle Petty. Kyle?
Well, I'm standing here in the 31 scale of compact. It looks like some oil lines may be loose on the oil tank. I saw they're really looking at the smoke's coming out from under the left front tire. And it looks like they're just tightening the lines, and they're going to try to get him back out here in the next few minutes.
Tough break for Tom Peck.
Brian Frazier, the crew, trying to get the channel lock car back on the racetrack. Great battle here. This is now for 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th as Robert Presley actually making 14th on back as Presley has taken the 12th spot away. The 92 car, Larry Pearson, is 13th.
Meanwhile, Jason Keller in the white 57 car, the Eastman Chemical car, got moved up to the outside net. He lost about 5 spots.
Say, once you get up here and those cars running bumper to bumper down on the inside, there's not a great deal you can do about it. They're just going to drive right on by. You look for an opening and hope you can get in it. But Jason having a little bit of a problem. He just slipped in turn 1 again, and he's losing more position. Here he is. Bobby Donner going by. There's Mike Wallace going by. And several other cars trying to make that pass. Dale Jarrett coming by there.
So Jason said, where is the end of this line?
He had got back after that first group of cars went by him. He got back in line. Then he slipped just a little bit coming off the turn 2, and that's all it took for another group to go by.
That's Mike Wallace in his car number 9, followed by Bobby Donner.
And the 59 car, Dennis Setzer, is a lap down because of being black flag, having to make a pit stop as Dale Jarrett comes up, starts working on him. Kevin LePage, Lloyd Payne, Kevin LePage, he's 71. The, what is that, green and blue, purple?
Teddy Bear Blue.
Teddy Bear Blue. Where is the leader? Where is Mark Martin? Is he still on the racetrack?
There he comes. There comes the Winn-Dixie Ford Thunderbird. Same car used to win last time he was on ESPN a couple of weeks ago in Darlington, South Carolina. That was the shot he had all day at Darlington because he had a clean racetrack in front of him. Take a look at the interval here between Martin and Levante. Martin, the leader. Ricky Craven in second. Harry Gann is third. David Green in the car number 44 rides right on Gann's bumper in 4th spot. Hoping to make a move to the inside. Almost had a shot.
Yep, he was trying for a little bit of an opening there. It didn't quite work out for him, but if he gets his nose up there, Harry will let him go. He won't fight him that hard. He's going to keep him back there as long as he can and do it comfortably.
This is a shot from the blimp, looking down on these fellas, going around and around.
Rafael Arroyo up there in the Family Channel blimp, giving us those great overhead looks. Now, once again, ground level. They come around this racetrack in a hurry. We showed you an interval a minute ago between the leader and Labonte. That was Terry Labonte, the car number 14 there, who since February 26th was the point leader until a week ago. And that car number 14 then is making his way toward the front.
Yeah, he's passed a couple of cars, Jerry. David Green still working on Harry Gann up there.
Trying his best to get by. We showed you an interval on Terry Labonte just a moment ago, but he's going to have some problems now because he has run across some heavy traffic that he's got to get through. There's Rodney Combs, Hermie Sadler, Kenny Wallace, Chuck Mount, a lot of cars. So he's going to have some problems catching Mark Martin. Difficult racetrack. As fast as they're running it, it's difficult to pass you.
Well, it still is basically a one-groove track. The inside groove is where they can run the fastest, and that's where everybody sticks. And then the more they run there, the more it becomes a one-groove track because they push a little bit of rubber and stuff up on the second groove, and it makes it even more difficult to pass. Kyle Petty?
Yeah, it used to be that, you know, when this was an asphalt racetrack, the bottom groove really got worn out, and you had to move to the top groove. Now the concrete has changed all that. The top groove never comes in. The Winston Cup guys hope and pray that these Busch guys will run and make it a two-groove racetrack, but it never happens until tomorrow afternoon at about 400 laps. So right now this is a one-groove racetrack, and it'll still be a one-groove racetrack when it's over with at 250 laps.
So Kyle, how do you pass someone? How do you pass you?
Well, I think Chad Little had the best idea when you run in the back of those guys over there, and that's about the only way I know at this point in time in the race to get around anybody. Nudge them a little bit, get into them a little bit, use that NASCAR bumper, ease them out of the way, and then drive under them.
caused some of that traffic. Sorry, Jerry.
No, that's okay, Mark. You're right. You're right. Mark didn't have to use the old Kyle Petty chrome or his Kyle called it a minute ago, the NASCAR bumper to get by, but he was able to drive beneath Dave Resendez and continues to motor away. We talk about a one-groove racetrack. Well, here's a driver who's burning up that groove, and that's Dale Jarrett, the car number 32. Jarrett started back in 30th position, the Shoe World Chevrolet. Remember, he's a former winner here, winning back in August of '91. Makes his 21st start today, but look where he has come from back in 30th. He is now being shown in 18th spot at lap 53, and then at that rate, he's going to get a top 5 finish and possibly be a contender before this day's over.
Well, he is making a good move towards the front, and it is difficult to make that pass, as we've talked about, but he's managed to get his nose up under a few of them, and once he gets it up under there, back off, and that's a smart thing for anybody to do. If somebody gets the nose under you, the smart thing to do is to back off a little bit, and let it go, and then try to get back in line behind them. But Harry Gant's certainly holding that line down on the inside and keeping David Green back there as they come up on that lap traffic.
Oh, spin down in turn 1, right in front of Craven. Oh, another spin as Kenny Wallace goes around.
That's Tracy Leslie in the car number 72 that just a lap ago almost spun in turn 1. Got to believe Leslie must have had a tire going down. He got completely sideways a lap ago. This time he came through turns 1 and 2 and he couldn't gather it back in. He gets sideways. He gets the Detroit Gaskets Chevrolet refired. Ron Parker owned car, but he has certainly ganged up some cars behind him. Here's what happened just a moment ago.
Okay, there we see Resendez. He is going to spin, and you're right. It looks like Tracy just spun by himself. Dave Resendez spins a Lipton Ford.
Yeah, I believe he got a little bit of a bump from Harry Gant when he went into the turn.
And there we see Kenny Wallace come in there. He gets his car going back straight after getting 90 degrees sideways. Never did go completely around.
He did a great job.
Well, that was right in front of Ricky Craven. Now they've opened pit road here for the second caution flag of the day as we're showing some 61 laps in the books. Caution on the speedway here at Bristol International Raceway. Not much activity on pit road. Traffic very tough on the racetrack. We'll be back with more from Thunder Valley after this. Stay with us. High atop Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee. That beautiful shot courtesy of the Family Channel airship. There's the Family Channel airship today being piloted by Rafael Arroyo. High above the mountains here of eastern Tennessee. And here's what happened moments ago to bring out the second caution flag of the day.
There we see Resendez, and you're right, Ned. Harry Gant does run in the back of him.
Well, Resendez slowed down, as it looked like was it Jason Keller went slowed down a little bit because the 72 car of Tracy Leslie up there had spun, and so Gant ran in on him and tapped him and sent him around.
Did you see Ricky Craven get through that? I can't believe the car number 2 made it through. Here's another shot at it.
And the 44 car, because Harry runs in the back of the 79, and luckily the 49 was able to avoid all this.
And Craven did make a great move, Jerry, down to the inside, and very quick move to get around the Tracy Leslie car. Got through unscathed.
Boy, after a win last week and a nice move like that, sometimes it pays to be a little bit lucky, I guess, out here in Bristol, Tennessee. But what a great effort by Craven and David Green and some of those guys to get back. And we're going to let you take a look and see if you can pick out your favorite driver as the field passes by, getting set to the green flag. Some of the lap cars pulling up to the outside.
And there's a 63 car that is Jim Bound. Now, someone told me a moment ago that I called him Chuck Bound. He used to drive that car, did Chuck Bound, but he's driving the 12 car. He's on the pole. Bobby Alston's on the pole for tomorrow's Winston Cup race. That's his brother, Jim Bound, in the 63. Bound in the 63.
And they're both sons of Dick Bound.
That's right, who I used to race against.
Great race driver. We're back to green flag in Bristol, Tennessee. Carl Simmons waves the green to Mark Martin, who has led every lap here after sitting on the pole. One car skitters high. That's Dirk Stevens, and they jam up behind Stevens off of 2 in a near collision. That involved Larry Pearson.
Yes, Harry, the body was right there. He goes down to the inside. He's in the 14 car, and here comes Tracy Leslie down on the inside. I guess he has some new tires on that car.
Yes, he does. He stopped and changed tires.
Well, we understand that they held him a lap in the pits also for going over the line when he made his pit stop.
See, Terry Labonte in that 14 car, the MW win this car. He started, guys. He is really.
Well, he started in 11th, and he's currently being shown in 8th place. But he's been racing awfully hard.
Yes.
Got caught back in some traffic and had to make his way back toward the front. getting caught up on the outside. Jason Keller having his troubles.
Yeah, Jason's been caught up there several.
Oh, and a spin coming off turn 4. 2-car spin.
3 cars.
3 cars.
Roy Payne, Shauna Robinson, and Tom Peck in the channel lock car, and they're too wide coming by, and Dennis Setzer just misses Roy Payne. And those 2 cars, you see now, Tom Peck has it in reverse, trying to back away, but Tom, there's a car behind you.
Shauna's back there. She's trying to get her car going now. Dennis Setzer was trying to get his lap back. He lost a lap when he was penalized earlier by having to go into the pits. We think it was because he jumped the flag on the last restart.
And Shauna Robinson had been in the garage area. You can see a left front tire flat on Roy Payne's car, but she had been in the garage area and came back out just a couple of laps ago. It's pretty heavy damage to that channel lock car, 31 Tom Peck.
Boy, serious damage to Tom Peck's car. What a tough break. The car is owned by Wayne Grissom. And, of course, Steve Grissom drove that car to the Busch Series Championship a year ago. Yes, we're under caution for the 3rd time today, and we have just 70 laps complete here at Bristol International Raceway. We'll be back with more Busch NASCAR action after this.
200 miles an hour. These race cars build up a tremendous amount of heat under the hood, also inside the engine. How do the engine builders keep them cool? The first thing they do is purchase an oversized radiator. That's the first step. And the second step, now you would think that at 200 miles an hour, air going through this grill would go right through the radiator. Wrong, because air is going to jam up against the radiator, and it's going to follow the lines of least resistance. It's going either side. So what the teams do, they build ductwork inside the nose of the car. That's this piece right here, and they butt that up against the radiator and literally force the air through the grill, through this ductwork, and through the radiator, and keeping the engines cool even up to 200 miles an hour.
And there's a car right there that the front of it looks pretty good, Benny, but the back of it got a real close look at Shauna Robinson's radiator just a moment ago as we had caution come out for the 3rd time today. The safety crew is here at Bristol Raceway. Now, Benny, you actually saw what happened as we watch again. Roy Payne's car spins, but he has a little help.
Yeah, he and Joe Bessie got together. They were almost at the end of the line. They get together. The 27 car spins. Bessie keeps on going, and then the 31 and the 46 of Shauna Robinson, Tom Peck and Shauna Robinson, had no place to go except spin. They were trying to dodge the 27 car. We see some pretty heavy damage to the left front there. John Kernan is down there.
Well, you know, Benny, I was looking exactly at the same spot you were, and Roy, it looks like Bessie may have gotten into you a little bit, but had you started to loosen up coming off of turn 4? What exactly happened?
Well, it's just good short track racing, you know. I was up there in the high groove, and I thought I could get down, so I tried to come down, and evidently somebody was up underneath me, just kind of turned me around. There was no harm intended, just good tight racing here at Bristol.
Hey, you pulled the helmet off. The crew is working. As Donnie told you, you're going to be able to get it fixed to get it back out?
It looks terminal. They said the A-frame's been up pretty bad and the sway bar's broke, so looks like we're done for the day.
Well, it'll be a short end to Roy Payne's day. Let's go down pit road to Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm standing here with Tom Peck, who's also caught up in that accident. You'd already had a little bit of trouble with the oil tank. They come in, seem to fix that. You were back out there running good. What happened that time? I mean, things happen so quick in front of you. I know you can't react.
Yeah, that's Bristol. You know, when things start happening, you don't have a lot of time to react. I saw a wreck happen in front of me, and I got hit from behind and pushed into the wall. So we're going to get back out, but we're going to lose some laps.
Yeah, he's going to try to get back out, but I'm going to tell you something. He's got that Bristol rear end on this car right now, Benny.
The Bristol rear end, that means he doesn't have much of a rear end on that car.
That's right.
Once it's been hit here, it's been hit.
Tom Peck was 9th in the point standings, just 33 points out of Tracy, behind Tracy Leslie. That's what's, it says they're sponsored by Channel Lock. They're going to need a lot of tools to fix that one right there. The folks from Channel Lock up in Pennsylvania.
I hope they make hammers.
They make some big ones. We're getting ready to go green again at Bristol, Tennessee. Mark Martin, where he's been since they dropped the flag, or waved it, they don't drop it very often. He is up front, leading Harry King and Ricky Craven out of turn 2.
What a sportsmanship move by Mark Martin, Ned. He let Dennis Setzer in the 59 car get the jump on him to get a lap back if he can. If he can run fast enough to stay in front of Mark Martin.
Yep, that was it. Mark's car, I don't know if it's not running quite as fast now. Harry Kent working on him. Kent got around Ricky Craven during some of those skirmishes out there, and now he's working on Mark. So I don't know if Mark's car might have gone away a little bit or just what the deal is.
That's Rodney Coleman, the car number 43. He is being shown in 5th position. You saw coming by the French's Pontiac.
And we see Terry Lamont is still on his way forward. He's still in 8th place. seeing that 14 on the screen. Looks like he's flying.
Trouble in turns 1 and 2. Couple of cars have come together. That's Kenny Wallace in the car number 8, and he is tagged by a car that had already been involved in the service early on. That's Chad Little in the Harris Teeter sponsored car number 23.
And the brake Dennis sets are needed. He got out in front of Mark Martin. Now he's back in the lead lap.
You know, last week at Hickory Speedway, you look at Chad Little's car, Dennis Setzer was involved in an early caution flag, not of his own doing. Took the whole front of the car off. They fixed the car, took the sheet metal off, and he was the fastest car on the racetrack for the remainder of the day, even faster than the guys who won the race. But you won't know it by looking at the rundown. He lost so many laps in the pits.
That's right. He has a good fast race car here today, too. So now I'm sure that he and the crew are happy to get him back in the lead lap.
And, folks, this is a very quick caution flag because Carl Simmons was giving them the signal 1 lap to go, but now there's a wrecker on the racetrack. I guess we're going to go green next time as we watch the replay and try to figure out what happened. Oh, there we see that's Ronald Cooper tagged the left rear of the 8 car. That's Ronald Cooper, the black and yellow 56. Tags Kenny Wallace, and around he goes, and he's in the pits with Kyle Petty.
Yeah, Kenny just come in. This is the second time Kenny's been in. He was involved in an accident, not the one before this, but one of the accidents earlier. They changed all 4 tires then. You're only allowed to change 1 tire per position under caution. This is the second time. I have to be honest with you. I don't know what the rules are on this, but I know there's a penalty on this thing. They've had some trouble with the left front. They can't get it off. He got caught in the pits right here. So that he didn't get lapped in either one of the accidents. He's lapped now. Now he's backing back down pit road. I don't know what he's going to do. Manny, I can't tell.
I don't either. He's backing. Hey, Kyle, he's coming back to you. The officials tell him to back up. He's coming back in.
Now he's backing. So they're not going to penalize him for that, at least. They're taking the left front off finally. They got all other 3 tires changed. They just didn't get it off. They pulled some of the sheet metal off the left rear tire, and he's back out. But like I say, he's 1 lap down because of the hits. Now he's already changed every tire that he can change. He should be penalized something on that.
So the second place man in the point standings, Kenny Wallace, having trouble early on. He's back on the racetrack at least a lap down right now. So we'll go back to green flag racing, and the Winston Cup veterans run 1-2 up front. Martin and Harry Gish.
Ricky Raven is 3rd, David Green 4th, and in 5th place is Rodney Combs.
Last time Martin let Dennis Setzer get a lap back. And I thought maybe that was one reason that he was a little bit slower than Harry Gant. There's nothing in front of him right now. Let's see who's the tougher, he or Harry Gant.
And here's a car that's been tough most of the day. We're talking about Dale Jarrett in the car number 32. That is the yellow and blue, or sort of green numeral, the Chevrolet Lumina, the Shoe World sponsored car. Former winner here. Boy, it has been a tough year for Dale Jarrett in both Winston Cup and Busch Series competition. Had a great run at Darlington a couple of weeks ago when ESPN was the fastest car on the track. Came down pit road for a pit stop then, and the air gun came unconnected from the hose, and they had trouble there, and he comes back out, and the engine lets go, and you talk about having bad luck or no luck at all. That car number 32, Jarrett, now maybe trying to get it turned around here in Bristol.
Well, he's trying to. He's up in 12th place now after starting 30th. He did have a good run in the Shoe World car at finishing second today. Earnhardt in the Goody's 300 there. Derek Cope, he's working on him there now, but it's, again, tough to pass.
And right in front of these guys is Terry Labonte. And all that work he got to gain 3 spots, he got high in 1 and 2, and we'll have to find out. He might have lost all 3 of those spots, guys.
If you take a look at our field summary, you will see where your favorite car and driver are running. Tommy Houston running in the top 10 after a 5th place finish a week ago. Now Dale Jarrett being shown back in 13th spot.
And 14 cars back to 11th where he started. He lost 3 spots, and there he goes by. Dale Jarrett gets by Jerry Cope and sets his sights on Terry Labonte. Labonte in the white car with red numerals, MW windows. And look how Dale Jarrett closes up, and something is wrong with Labonte.
Yeah, he just slowed all of a sudden coming up there. That's part of the reason Dale Jarrett closed up that fast is something went wrong with Labonte's car. He's headed to pits.
Bob Labonte, who was his father and crew chief there, waiting for the car. And now Terry comes back up to speed a little bit. He tries to come back to speed. Now he brings it back down off the banking and will be headed for the pits here on the front straightaway.
Yes, he is coming in the pits. He's finally made it towards the pits, and Hey, there's no panic down there, so this thing is, whatever the problem is, it's terminal.
I think they broke a shock.
Think they broke a shock, Kyle?
Yeah, it looks like they broke the left rear shock. The fender, if you look at the fender rolls all up in here, so the car's really bottomed out hard on the tires. Terry's taking his helmet off, so I think at least Terry thinks it's done for the day.
What a tough break for Terry Labonte, the only two-time winner here this season in NASCAR Busch Series competition. Labonte having won twice this year, winning at Martinsville, and of course winning early in the year at Rockingham. As we have trouble again on the front straightaway, Dave Resendez, the Lipton T Ford, spins and backs away. He is down out of harm's way. But yes, once again, Carl Simmons, as the Joey Chitwood maneuver being used by Dave Resendez to bring the car about face in a hurry.
And look there on the 79 on the roof of the car, he has the Daytona panels in there, and at Bristol, Ned, they popped up when he turned around.
At the speed you run here, I guess they would. I hadn't thought about that as being a help on a half-a-mile track, but very interesting.
What about that for speed? We told you how tough it is. A half-mile racetrack with a super speedway wing on it to keep the car on the ground. What a great example of how those things work. Under caution for the fourth time today, Dave Resendez spinning the car number 79, the Lipton T Ford. Back with more from Bristol, Tennessee after this. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, green flag, one lap ago. Our leader, Mark Martin, the car number 60. Behind him, a car that's being shown a lap down, the car number 72, in fact, 2 laps down. That's Tracy Leslie.
And Mark pulls over. He pulls over and lets Tracy Leslie go by. Harry Gant goes by. What kind of problem has Mark Martin got?
I wondered a moment ago if maybe he was having a little bit of problem. He didn't seem to be running quite as fast as he was earlier. Maybe Harry was wanting him to run faster than he wants to go at this point of the race. Let's go to John Kernan in the pits. John, what do you know?
Well, the problem is we don't know. The crew does not know. Mark is not responding when they're calling him on the radio. They don't know for sure if they've got a radio problem or if Mark just has nothing to say. But it looks like there's time by that Mark can pick back up his speed. But down here in the pits, they don't know what's going on.
Well, we don't either because he's running good right now.
But he certainly pulled over as he did it a couple laps ago when he let Dennis Setzer go by. He pulls over and lets Tracy Leslie go by. Here's a good battle with Larry Pearson, the car number 92, going by Jason Keller in the car 57. Keller being shown 1 lap down in 24th spot. That's Larry Pearson now taking the 6th position. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th. Hermie Sadler right behind him in 7th spot.
And a good run for Tommy Houston right behind those cars. Tommy Houston with Piggly Wiggly food stores on the car this week.
Tommy coming off his best run in quite some time at Hickory Speedway. Had a shot at winning it. Finished 5th. And how about the Teddy Bear Kid, car number 71?
Kevin LePage, the Vermont Teddy Bear car. And you know that teddy bear that we saw in Darwin last week? He and all the crew signed that bear and gave it to me.
That's the Benny Bear.
The Benny Bear.
Now I'm wondering when we're going to have a Kyle Bear. I guess we should call it the Hair Bear maybe, but we need to have one of those in the pits in the future. Good run for Kevin LePage, Vermont Teddy Bear Chevrolet.
And look, Tommy Houston trying to get by Hermie Sadler. That 25 car, the black and red car, Hermie Sadler. And here is Mark Martin. Remember, folks, the last time you saw him, he had moved over and let the 7th car, Harry Gant, go by. Now he's closed up on the back bumper there again.
Staying right with him. He's back working on it.
Meanwhile, as we go out, Joe Bessie going down pit road.
Harry Gant trying to pick up his 2nd win of 1994. Remember, he won in Atlanta earlier this year on ESPN.
That's the Mannheim Auto Auction Chevrolet.
Looking on to the Winn-Dixie in-car camera. 23 cars in the lead lap, and it's 141 laps to go in the Goody's 250. Good race for Goody's. They're a headache remedy, the sponsor on this high bank half-mile oval. What better sponsor to have when these guys hit at 130 miles an hour?
Or either just driving 250 or 500 laps here, you get a headache. So, yeah, it's a good sponsor, no question about it. Tommy Houston just moved around, Herbie Sadler.
Herbie slipping up a little bit. Houston taking the spot away. That would be the 7th position. Sadler moves back to 8th. Robert Presley is 9th.
There's our interval between the leader, Harry Gant, and back to 5th place, Rodney Combs. Rodney just a 2.5 seconds behind our leader.
Well, now Larry Pearson has passed Rodney Combs now, has taken over the 5th position. Tommy Houston working on Rodney Combs right now.
looked like Gant may have got off the farm a little bit in the corner. The car got a little bit loose, and Martin went to the outside to keep him tagging. Now, a moment ago, we had the 5th caution flag. Now, look at the back of this car, number 79, Resendez, and the car gets backwards coming toward you. Once it gets light, the car starts to get off the ground almost with the wind coming across the back of the car. And as Benny Larson said, those flaps came up and the car settled down and stayed right on the ground.
And Ricky Craven has a problem. The DuPont car is off the pace. He's got cars jammed up behind him. Kyle Petty, what's the problem with Ricky Craven?
But the last time by, you can see him come down the front stretch and go in the first corner. He's got a left rear tire that is flat. It's almost down on the rim. These guys are calling to him, trying to get him in here. They're trying to get a caution. They're hoping that they could maybe get a caution in a lap or two. They're going to leave him out there as long as they can until it absolutely goes. But I think he'll be in the next lap or so, Benny.
Yeah, he might beat the caution here in a little bit if he isn't careful.
That's Dale Jarrett now trying right up behind Craven last week's winner. What a tough break for a young man who didn't have everything going his way.
Oh, he almost wins.
Tries to hang on right in front of Johnny Benson, and he has to finally pull it out off the racetrack. A gallant effort, but those tires, you can't, it's hard enough when they got air in them at this racetrack.
Look at that left rear tire coming apart now.
What a great camera shot, guys, that left rear tire. Now it's completely off the wheel, and Craven trying to control that Chevrolet will bring it down, and the crew will go to work and put left side tires.
Oh, back for the lead. Mark Martin's taking in the lead again from Harry Gant.
And here's another good battle, guys. Kevin LePage has been trying to pass Robert Presley on the outside. They've banged together several times. He almost had him passed one time. I don't think Robert knew he was out there. And so they have really been going at it here.
That is 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's Dale Jarrett in 10th spot. He's the yellow car, number 32. The 99 is in 8th position, Presley. And what a good job by LePage in Bristol, Tennessee. He's on the outside.
He's on the outside this time.
You, oh, man, what a pass, man.
He's been trying him for 4 or 5 laps, and Presley kept closing the doors on him, and by golly, he made the pass. That was impressive.
I think that teddy bear on the hood closed his eyes for that one, because that had to be scary up on the outside.
Well, here he goes. He's going to try Rodney Combs out there. He said, that worked. Why can't I try that again? Look at it. Going right up on the outside of Rodney Combs now.
Kevin's son, I got to go talk to that boy. You ain't supposed to be doing. Oh, and Rodney almost spun. Must have been some contact.
Kevin LePage, who ran the American-Canadian Tour for 14 years. What a gallant effort. At Combs' car, you see the car getting a little bit out of shape there. He is backed off now somewhat.
And Rodney Combs has moved up on the, Robert Presley has moved up the racetrack a little bit, Ned. He was so impressed by that pass that LePage made on him. He's trying that groove. He's moved up a little bit.
He has moved up there, Howard. Don't know if it'll work for him, but it certainly worked for Kevin LePage to move up there and make the pass, and Kevin is driven away from him.
He's in 7th spot. The 71 car in 7th. The white car in the middle of your screen is 8th, and Dale Jarrett is 9th. Back up front, our lead cars, that is Mark Martin. In the car number 60, the Winn-Dixie Ford Thunderbird. And there's a look at the young man in the car hanging on. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, we talked earlier about a potential radio problem that Mark was not responding to the crew, in particular after he slowed down and let Harry Gant and Tracy Leslie get around him. Well, they have been trying to talk to him for most of the race. So what are we, 126 laps, halfway through this race? Finally, Mark answers him. You know what he said? Hey, guys, take a round of wedge out on the next pit stop.
Well, I guess he just had nothing to say, right? I mean, if you're busy, you're busy.
Well, you run out front the way he had been. Everything did seem to be going fine, so it didn't seem that they have a problem.
Just past the halfway point here at Bristol, Tennessee, the Goodies 250 NASCAR Busch Grand National Series racing action. Mark Martin, our leader. Harry Gant in 2nd. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, under the 6th caution flag today, a moment ago. Car number 74, the Staff America car of Robbie Benson Jr. spun.
Johnny Benson Jr.
And just before that, the car number 08, Bobby Dotter, was smoking and came down the backstretch pits. A lot of smoke peeling from the right front hub area of that car.
It looked like either a brake caliper or a hub on the car, one or the other. And also Ronald Cooper was involved in an accident with the 74 car. We see the back of the Johnny Carton car. He backed in the fence. I think maybe that Johnny Benson was trying to dodge Cooper is why he ran in the wall. That's pretty heavy damage to the back of that car.
That's Ronald Cooper's car. Now, during this caution flag, finally, everyone got a chance to come down pit road and take some tires.
See, Randy LaJoy is the first car. Hermie Sadler's the second car we see in the picture. There's 44, David Green, and Mark Martin. His Winn-Dixie Ford is the first car to move. Is that Derek Cope coming behind him? Sure looks like it.
Good pit work for Mark Martin's crew. Now, Harry Gant, the green car far up pit road, almost gets left. He's still in the pits. That's the green car. Look to the left of the screen. There comes the pace car down, and Gant is going to have to hurry. They took a rubber out of the Gant car to try to adjust the handling, but he did not lose a lap, but came very close to losing a lap. There's the car that calls the caution, Johnny Benson Jr., and the driver is standing by with John Kernan.
Well, Johnny, you're okay. You walked away from the car, but what exactly happened out there?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a couple cars got slowed up, and when I went to get slowed up, I tried to miss the car, and I got up in the marbles and straight to the wall. Not a whole lot I could do about it, but, you know, we had a rough weekend for the Snap America Chevrolet, and I thought we were going to be okay today and, you know, maybe get a top 10, but it doesn't look that way now.
Yeah, I guess the next 2 weeks off that you guys are going to have, the guys back at the shop, Steve Bird and the crew, are going to have some work to do, huh?
Yeah, we got a little bit of work, you know. It's one of them situations, you know. I guess you're welcome to Bristol for me, but, you know, it's a good facility down here, and, you know, we really started off good, and then things went really bad, and then, like I say, we were doing pretty good in the staff car. That's what happens.
Well, that's Johnny Benson Jr., Jerry.
Hey, John Kernan.
Yeah.
He kept talking about we've got a lot of work to do. Is he going to work on it?
Okay, Benny wants to know, you said we got a lot of work to do back at the shop. Are you going to help him out in the shop?
Well, actually, I'm going out to Denver, Colorado for the ASA show out there.
Yeah,
so
right.
We're still going to be doing some racing.
So it's they got a lot of work to do.
Exactly.
Hey, at least he is going to be working. He's going to be racing ASA.
Our diehard driver profile, 30-year-old Johnny Benson, 1993 ASA champion, his 12th career Busch Grand National race, coming off his career best, a 4th last week at Hickory. Currently 11th in Busch Grand National points. That will drop because of his DNF today here in Bristol, Tennessee. Impressive young man, driving Bill Bumgardner's Staff America Chevrolet and running for Rookie of the Year. How about Mark Martin? What's his status? Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, there wasn't really a radio problem, but then again, there was. Mark had apparently knocked the earplugs out of his helmet, so when he slowed down, apparently he was plugging them back in. Go figure.
Well, they got him plugged in, and Tommy Houston will lead his first lap of the season in the Piggly Wiggly Ford Thunderbird. Veteran driver from Hickory, North Carolina.
I don't know how many tires he might have changed, or if he changed any tires, Jerry. I didn't watch his pit stop, but he got back up first. Now, Morgan Shepherd made a pit stop during the last one. He could go the rest of the way, so he's up there in second place right now. Hadn't seen Morgan today in the Tier 1 Ford. He's been back there in the back most of the time, but that pit strategy has got him up near the front.
Back last August, Tommy Houston started 17th, got a top 10 finish here. He ended up finishing in 8th position. We told you he had a great run on Hickory a week ago. Starting his 364th Busch Grand National event. He missed 2 early in the year because of lack of sponsorship. He missed Richmond and Atlanta. Otherwise, he has been at every single event for the past 13 years.
And Mark Martin took a look on the inside of Morgan Shepherd, decided not to try to make the pass.
Well, back behind them, Hermie Sadler is all over Ricky Craven trying to get by. Craven, of course, is at least a lap down. Maybe a couple because of that flat tire he had.
He's being shown 2 laps down right now in 24th position.
See what, Mark almost had Morgan that time. Down in turn 1, this is 3 and 4 as they come down the start-finish line. Mark takes a look on the inside.
Now Morgan moves up, gives it a little bit of running room, but Mark can't take advantage of it. Now he's got that nose up under there again. Here he comes. Here he is this time.
Out of turn 4, Shepherd nearly bounces up into the concrete. Take a look at the difference in fresh tires here in Bristol, Tennessee, guys.
Oh, and Randy LaJoy, our point leader, in the wall hard down in turn 1. He went up, he smacked this baby hard. His car's still rolling.
No caution flag is yet for the Peterloo Chevrolet. What a tough break for the Connecticut driver. Boy, he hit it a ton, too. The car skated across the racetrack. He's trying to get the car back to the pits, and we do not have caution.
And Morgan Shepherd, when Mark Martin got by him, went from second back to sixth. Plus a few lap cars passed him.
We see Kenny Wallace right now trying to get by our leader. Let's see, where is LaJoy here?
He'll be in the blue car there. He got a little bit of help. Yeah, he got tapped from the rear by, what's that, Larry Pearson?
Yes, Larry Pearson gets in the back of him. You can see some pretty heavy damage. Kyle Petty, you're down there. How bad is the damage?
There's some serious damage here. They're beating on the right rear, but as you know, Benny, when you hit the wall as hard as that, the rear end has been knocked out the left side of the car. The left rear tire is setting out about a half inch to an inch. Randy's cut the car off now. They're going to try to work on it. They'll have to work on the panhard bar, the track bar. The trailing arms will probably be at the way the left rear looks, Benny.
So another car with Kyle's Bristol rear end.
Yes.
Randy LaJoy had a 37-point lead over Kenny Wallace, who had trouble earlier. You heard Kyle talking about the problems Kenny had. Kenny is now being shown a lap down in 18th position, but the point leader still sits in the pit.
You see Morgan Shepherd, he's on the high side, and then now he's lost about 15 spots.
Yeah, his tires are much older than those that made the pit stop here during this last caution, and certainly that's showing up right now.
After watch these guys go through 3 and 4, that's Tom Peck, not only able to the racetrack, he's back out after a lot of repairs to his wrecked race car.
Tommy Houston doing a good job of staying out front there. Mark Martin maybe closing in on him a little bit.
And here's the car, a couple of cars battling back in the pack. Well, Morgan Shepherd, you said, guy, his tires have gone away. Tier 1 sponsorship on that car for 11 races in 1994. Only his 4th start. He had a great 7th place run at Daytona to open the season, but it's been sort of downhill from there. 100 laps remain here in the Goody's 250.
There's Kevin LePage again. He goes by Derek Cope. That's the, what's his name, Ron Zook that owns that car?
Ron Zook bought the equipment from the late Davey Allison.
That 82 car that Derek Cope is driving, that's the Zook car. And Kevin LePage did make a pit stop. It was a little bit slow. That's why he's so far back. And wow, he goes right by the 57, just turns the car left. And he's also got Larry Pearson, the standing 2 car, right behind him. As he closes up on that 10 feet with a 55 right in front of him. This LePage goes.
Right here's a group of cars that are battling awfully hard. They almost got stacked up coming off of turn 2 over there the last time around. We'll take a look at it. As they came off of that turn. Here they are going into the turn, and there you see Hermie Sadler. And we got a crash for sure. Kevin LePage, oh, tough luck. We're just talking about how great he was going. And now he's back there, believe me, folks, down on the inside, on the other side of Mark Martin's tow rig or his hauler.
Boy, he was coming, though, in a hurry. The young man, 32 years of age, from Shelburne, Vermont.
There he goes. He's back moving down the back straightaway. And he's got one of those Bristol rear ends that Kyle Petty keeps talking about. We can see where it's knocked down.
And he will be making an entry back onto pit road. And once again, for the 7th time today, we have a caution flag at Bristol, Tennessee. Here again is what happened.
He goes in the corner, and you live by that high line, you die by the high line. He gets in there, gets in the loose stuff, and backs into it. Kevin, you learned something about Bristol, buddy.
And that teddy bear can now open its eyes because Kevin is headed for the pits as we are under caution for the 7th time today in Bristol, Tennessee. Hope you're enjoying NASCAR Busch Grand National Series racing action. Back in a moment. Lots of racing action coming your way tomorrow from right here at Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee. Yes, live coverage at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. ESPN Speed World, the Food City 500. Coming up following that, our NASCAR Shop Talk featuring Ernie Irvan. That's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Green flag, Jerry. And Tommy Houston gets a great jump on Mark Martin, gets Kenny Wallace between the 2 cars.
They did get a good jump there, and that's a good cushion to have in there. Kenny Wallace has been running good. He's a lap down, but was hoping to jump Tommy Houston and get back in the lead lap, but not this time.
So it's incredible, Tommy Houston. We found out during the break that Tommy had not pitted yet at car is still running as well as it is here at 160 laps.
I'm impressed.
Really, those tires have held up well for him, but he's going to have to he's going to have to make a pit stop. He'll have to have some fuel whether he needs tires or not.
And Tommy is pulled away from the lap car of Kenny Wallace. Mark Martin trying to get by Wallace, and now makes it on the inside down in turn 1. Opens the door, kicks it open, and takes a shot. Now David Green will try to get by.
Yeah, the train's going to go back. Kenny Wallace is up there in that second groove right now, and he's not going to be able to get back down there very easy because everybody's running bumper to bumper behind him.
And we told you that Kevin LePage was having a great run a minute ago into car number 71. His run is over, but what a day he has had at Bristol. Right, John Kernan?
Jerry, you're exactly right. Kevin, after a very impressive run, you were making some great passes out there. Then what happened?
Well, John, you know, the Vermont Teddy Bear Chevy Lumina was running really good. We qualified 19th. We were working our way up to the front. We got up to like 6th or 7th. We came in and changed tires, and we were working our way up through. And, you know, in the meeting today, they asked us to move up if you were slow. And I was trying to go to the outside and got in a little too deep for the one turn, brought it around. And it's too bad, you know, we've been struggling all year to make these races. And, you know, we had a good run going for the Vermont Teddy Bear tire, but we'll get them at Rougemont. You know, this is a team coming.
You know, it looked like you were running pretty well up in that high line. Is that what finally happened?
Yeah, you know, the car was working real good on the bottom, and we're coming up on Robert Presley there before the pit stop, and, you know, I couldn't get by him on the inside, so I said, well, let's try the outside. The car really worked good on the outside. You know, I was just taking my time, went in there, got into the loose stuff the way it went. But, you know, we're a rookie team. We make rookie mistakes. We learned from it, so we'll be back at Rougemont.
Kevin LePage, after a very impressive run early in the race, guys, he's back here fixing, they're working on the car. Morgan Shepherd had just pulled behind the wall, driven right by me.
Yeah, the Chairwine Ford Thunderbird calling it a day for Morgan Shepherd in that car. But meanwhile, back up front, Ned, we got a new leader.
Yeah, Mark Martin has taken the lead from Tommy Houston. Houston hangs on to second place. In third is David Green. Tommy Sadler is fourth. Jared fifth.
We mentioned Tommy Houston has not pitted. He was one of the 10 cars that started in the 36-car field on Hoosier tires. He and Harry Gant among the cars running up front with the Hoosiers on. The remainder of the field, 26 is back to the cars on Goodyear. There's Mark Martin. He is on the Goodyear Eagles, and he is leading right now with 81 laps to go here in Bristol, Tennessee.
Here we see the 72 car, Tracy Leslie, is closed up on the back of Tommy Houston. And there we see Dennis Setzer, the black and gold 59. That's 2 car on Ricky Craven.
What a job he has done, Benny Parsons. Dennis Setzer, we're talking about the Alliance Trading Center Chevrolet, the Daniel Welch-owned car. Started 25th. He lost a lap early on being involved in an incident, made the lap up, and now in lap 168 is being shown in 7th position.
It's been very impressive. And as you said, at Hickory last week had a great run going.
Here's Ricky Craven, who is a couple of laps down, trying to move around Robert Presley. Presley is running in the 6th position right now.
Craven takes a look on the inside, can't make the pass. And there we see Jeff Green, the 17 car. Clapper Girl Bacon Powder.
Yeah, out of Horseburg, Kentucky, we told you that Michael Waltrip owns that car. It's Michael's first venture as a car owner. And they'd like to be able to get some sponsorship and run 8 or 9 races the rest of the year. They didn't have a sponsor when they came here, and that Clapper Girl came off the Stevie Reeves farm, which did not qualify for the field. That was Stevie's sponsor.
A couple of guys helped Michael. Ronnie Stevens and he and his wife Rosemary helped out a little bit to buy a couple of sets of tires for that 17 car.
Again, Dennis Setzer currently being shown in the 7th spot. Car 59 is 7th. Right behind him is car number 17. That is Green. Jeff Green in 8th position.
And here comes 63, Jim Bound, the Lysol car.
Once Craven got up in that second groove, wasn't a whole lot he could do, but just wait for a good opening.
Bound being shown now in 9th position. Good run for Jim Bound, and Harry Gant now beginning to rumble a little bit in the Ed Whitaker-owned car. He has 21 victories, 7 of them having come on the short tracks. His last short track win came right here in the spring race in Bristol 2 years ago.
Harry has moved up to the 10th spot, and right behind Harry is my brother Phil Parsons driving the Food City Busch Grand National car today.
Phil having a good run today.
111.
Car's owned by Dennis Shoemaker out of Ocean City, Maryland. Good run for Phil in that car. High atop Bristol Raceway. Family Channel Airship on hand giving us those shots from way above. And look at this battle here. Whoa.
Oh, and he doesn't hit a thing. Just don't roll back across the racetrack.
Caution is out.
Boy, what a job. He kept it out of the concrete. He kept it up from around the racetrack as they race back to the flag. And Mark Martin will be the leader. We'd expect to see Tommy Houston take advantage of this caution flag to get a long-needed pit stop for fuel and also for fresh tires. Dennis Setzer brings out the caution flag for the 8th time today, trying to get by Robert Presley as they came out of turn 4. Now watch Setzer's car on the inside here just moments ago.
He comes down right on that yellow line, gets alongside Presley. They come off the corner. Now Robert Presley comes down, and that 59 just cannot, he can't let the car go up because the 99 is there. As he turns it to the left, he loses the back end.
Now he turns the wheel to the left, the car spins, keeps it out of the concrete wall that separates pit road, and then jams the brakes on. Watch Larry Pearson just getting by in the Stanley Tools car. Here at different angles, he comes right at you.
Here he comes. He almost saved that baby, but he goes around, and watch how close he comes to that wall. Oh, that wasn't close. That was a yard.
A good 3.5 feet, and look at the move that Larry Pearson made to keep him taking the back of that car off. It's a good thing Larry missed the car because his brother prepares the car. Let's check into pits and John Kernan. John?
Well, what a break for Tommy Houston. And they had told me earlier Scott Houston is changing the right front tire right now, who acts as a crew chief, also Tommy's son, said they could almost make it to the end on gas, but tires were going to give up pretty much in the next 15, 20 laps. So this caution comes at a very opportune time for them. This is left side tires now going on. They will have tires about 55, 57 laps fresher than everyone else. And what a story it would be as they make a chassis adjustment on the left rear if Tommy Houston, after missing races for the first time earlier this year, would come back to win this race. Tommy Houston pulls down pit road. Mark Martin is the leader.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, caution flag for the 8th time today. Mark Martin, our leader. A pair of greens in the top 5. David is 2nd. Jeff is 5th. Hermie Sadler and Dale Jarrett coming from way back in the pack is 4th. 6 through 10, Jim Bound, veteran Harry Gant, Larry Pearson, Derek Cope, and Tommy Houston. Back with more green flag action after this. And we told you we'd come back with green flag racing, and indeed we are. Mark Martin showing the way. A couple of lap cars behind him, and the Tracy Leslie and Mike Wallace. But the 2nd place car is David Green, Slim Jim Chevrolet, car number 44.
And Hermie Sadler right on his bumper of the 3rd place car. As we watch Mark Martin, that's our leader.
David Green got off to sort of a slow start, restart here, and that allowed the 2 lap cars to get in there. Both of them running good, Tracy Leslie and Mike Wallace. Sort of jammed up the inside line there and allowed Mark Martin to pull away.
Tommy Houston now beginning to make a move. You heard we went to break. John Kernan told you that Houston would have the freshest tires if this thing were to go green the rest of the way for the remaining 60 laps. Tommy Houston would be the car to beat. Now he's right up on the tail of Harry Gant, who has won here before. Let's see what Houston can do with Gant. They are battling now for the 7th spot.
Houston was 10th when the green flag waved, so he's already picked up some spots. Look at him trying to go down on the inside again. Is Gant going to get him room? Gant slips up a little bit. Tommy goes fresh time. Can't quite make it under there this time. Gant's got a good run trying to get around Larry Pearson.
In fact, Pearson had just passed Gant a minute ago for 7th. That puts Pearson 7th, Gant 8th, and Tommy Houston 9th as those 3 cars battle for top 10 finishing spots. Once again, Houston looks to the inside. Now, years ago, these 2 guys, as Gant now goes high, and Tommy takes the spot away in turn 3.
Well, Harry Gant said, Tommy, look, you're much better than I am. Go try to win this thing.
Yep, he knew that Tommy was better, so he did the gentlemanly thing. Let's see if Larry Pearson will do it now.
Now Houston begins to work on Larry Pearson on the inside, and Tommy Houston has caught in that car dialed in. Take a look at our AutoZone race summary. Mark Martin has led 137 of 191 laps. There have been 4 lead changes among 3 cars. 14 cars in the lead lap. 8 cautions for 43 laps. Yes, 8 cautions. The average speed a little over 81 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Mark Martin, Tommy Houston, and Harry Gant. led for 18 laps. Out of race, Shauna Robinson, Roy Payne, Terry Labonte, Ronald Cooper, Chad Chapin, and Joe Bessie. Along with Johnny Benson, Morgan Shepherd, who had an alternator problem, we're told, and Kevin LePage, the latest driver to exit this event.
There again, still trying to get by the Larry Pearson car.
Meanwhile, Houston has moved up and begins to work now on the Lysol Chevrolet of Jim Bound.
And for 6th spot, Bound is 6th, Houston is 7th.
Tommy Houston, the winningest active driver in Busch Series competition. 24 victories in Tommy Houston's categories. He moves right up on the back of Jim Bound. Houston's last victory coming in April of 1992 at Hickory Speedway. Almost got one a week ago. Couldn't quite get the cautions to fall his way as he finished 5th down there. You take a look and see where your favorite driver. Yes, Dennis Setzer did lose a lap on that spin a moment ago. A tough break for him after he came back from a lap down and was moving back toward the top 5.
Pearson here again. Looks like their car's awfully even.
Talk about how demanding this racetrack is on competitors. Mark Martin said at the top of the show, I may be able to hang on for 250 laps today, but tomorrow, talking about the Winston Cup race, it's going to be a tough one. Here's the battle once again, Jim Bound and Tommy Houston.
Houston seems to be a little bit faster than Bound did, but he's having a lot of trouble getting by. As you said, very difficult racetrack to pass on.
Boy, he puts that bumper right up on the back bumper of Jim Bound. Now Bound goes high going into the turn. Houston makes the pass, takes over 6th position.
48 laps to go, and Tommy Houston being told, I'm sure, every time by son Scott, who is the crew chief on that car, exactly what's remaining. How far does he have to go? Well, there's Dale Jarrett, and he gets passed by the car number 17, Jeff Green. What a run Green is having.
Yeah, Jarrett's car is not as strong with this set of tires as it was with the first set of tires he had. The car seems to be a little loose for him.
That was for 4th position, 4th and 5th. And there's the car they're chasing. That is Mark Martin in the car number 60. Laps are winding down in Bristol, Tennessee. Can Martin hang on? We'll find out in just a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, Mark Martin is our leader as laps are winding down. The Winn-Dixie Ford Thunderbird trying to win his 2nd in a row on ESPN after winning 2 weeks ago at Darlington. The car's on the move. Well, car number 17 is one of them. He is in 4th position and working on the 3rd place car of Hermie Sadler. We're talking about car number 17 of Jeff Green, 31-year-old driver from Owensboro, Kentucky, driving the Michael Waltrip-owned car. As they are all beginning to move in on Mark Martin. Now the car just coming in behind Green is Tommy Houston, and he is going to battle both those cars in a moment for 4th place.
And gets a little bit of a bump. Hermie does from the Jeff Green automobile and backs around the wall, and the caution flag is out once again.
Oh, tough break. Hermie Sadler.
And Tim Fiedel also spins coming off the 2nd corner.
Well, Kyle Petty said there was a way to pass here, but the bumper was involved, and that's exactly what happened in that incident. As we have caution now for the 9th time of day. As Tim Fiedel sees the car spinning, and he tagged it pretty hard over there in his inside track Ford Thunderbird. Again, here's what happened.
Once again, Jeff Green goes in the corner right behind Hermie Sadler. He's trying to get under him, trying to get on the gas, get a run. Just touches the back of Hermie Sadler, and around goes Hermie. Pretty heavy contact.
Yeah, he hit the wall hard backwards. The front end of the car came off the ground when the back hit the wall.
Looks like Jeff
doesn't take much of a lick. There he is. He just barely touched him. But on that point of the racetrack, it doesn't take much of a lick. You're almost out of control anyway. You're in a controlled slide coming off of there, and boy, just a little bit of a tap, and it sent him around. Tough break.
Hermie Sadler brings out the caution flag. Unfortunately, heavy impact over there. Don Beverly-owned car. They're working on the car there, changing tires here in the front pits. Caution being shown for the 9th time today. 35 laps remain here in the Goodies. 250. Now, that may have been a break possibly for Tommy Houston, because Houston was catching the leader, Mark Martin, in the car number 60. But laps are winding down, and traffic could have been a problem for Houston.
Well, it could have been, Jerry, but he had been coming through traffic pretty well. He had picked up about 1.5 seconds. Martin was almost 4 seconds ahead, but when this happened, he was only 2.5 seconds. ahead of Tommy Houston. So he was coming through traffic and gaining.
Great look at the crowd on hand today for the Goodies 250 here at Bristol International Raceway in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee. Glad to have you with us. Back with more Green Flag Racing after this. Back in Bristol, Tennessee for the NASCAR Busch Series Goodies 250. These shots being provided by the Family Channel Airship high above the racetrack. Airship measures 132 feet in length and weighs 3,000 pounds at 56 miles per hour. Talking about coming up next, some exciting action right here. Busch Championship, the semifinal match. Sanchez Vicario and Martina Navratilova coming up from Amelia Island Plantation down in Amelia Island, Florida. Martina, a three-time winner of the Busch Championship. And we'll have more Green Flag NASCAR action after this. 30 laps remain in the Goodies 250 here at Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee. Under the caution flag for this incident moments ago involving the car number 17, who just touches Hermie Sadler, Ned, and Sadler takes a ride.
Yep, it didn't take much, but it spun him right into the wall. Spun him into the wall, I should say, and hit pretty hard. Hermie has been in the pits, made some repairs on the car, and I believe he stayed in the lead lap. Yes, he did. He's still in the lead lap, being shown in 12th place. 13 cars now being shown on the lead lap. Get my English straightened out here.
Well, Hermie, the defending Rookie of the Year from 1993 in Busch Series competition. Now, 30 laps remain. It'll be 29 this time by. Great crowd. Take a look at the parking lots and the folks watching the NASCAR Busch Series action. Green flag waves, and we're going to see if Mark Martin can hold on. And Houston tries to get a shot inside for fourth spot. It can't quite take the spot away from Jeff Green.
Well, I thought he had it going into that turn. And Benny, that's his toughest challenge right now. Houston was faster than Mark Martin before the caution came out, but he still has the 17 car of Jeff Green and the 44 car of David Green to contend with before he can get to Mark Martin.
Yeah, that's his problem right now, is trying to get...
Trouble up in turn two, pardon me, Benny Parsons, as Kenny Wallace has spun up again and tagged the concrete.
No caution. No caution flag. Kenny's got the car back moving. That's a big break for Mark Martin, I think.
Yeah, I think so, too, because he has himself a good lead right now. Certainly a good lead on Tommy Houston, who appeared to have the fastest car on the track. And he didn't need for him to be bunched up again.
The second-place car, the 44 car, is David Green. He's running in second place. The 72 car, Tracy Leslie, is a lap or so down. He just can't get by. There's a 6 car we're watching, Tommy Houston.
Yeah, the 72 car of Tracy Leslie is 1 lap down. He's been running up there with him for a long, long time. But now he needs to get out of the way of those who are leading, and that's exactly what he's going to do there right now. Let David Green go on by on the outside.
David Green takes the position on the racetrack away. He was running in second spot and remained there because of the lap car, Tracy Leslie. Then comes Leslie and Mike Wallace. The third place car is the car number 17 that goes very high in turn two and off the back, down the back straightaway. That is Jeff Green and Tommy Houston.
Well, he's trying to get by these lap cars. He's trying to go by on the outside, and now Houston gets by him and takes over that third spot.
Take a look at Robert Presley's car. He's gotten some sheet metal damage. He's been involved with somebody and has tagged a little bit of the front of that car. He was running back in 11th spot as the lap's now winding down. 22 to go. It'll be 21 next time by. But Tommy Houston now has made the move on Jeff Green to take the third spot away. And we'll go up and try to work on Jeff's older brother, David Green.
But he's got to try to get by the 9 and the 72. That's the problem that Jeff Green was having.
They're fast race cars. They're not in contention for the lead or the win. In fact, they're not in contention with each other as far as positions are concerned, because Mike Wallace is 2 laps down, and the 72 car of Tracy Leslie is only 1 lap down.
And you see Martin has pulled away to a 1.6-second interval. Houston 2.7 seconds back.
Rodney Combs, Phil Parsons. That's Rodney Combs leading that group in the French's Mustard, and Phil just simply cannot get by there. He's finally on the inside of it. I think he's got him now.
That's 10th, 11th, and 12th, and Combs right back down in front of Bobby Donner. But Phil Parsons will take the spot away. That would have been the 10th position.
And meanwhile, these cars once again are much faster than Rodney Combs. They just simply cannot get by.
we've said so many times, it's tough to pass on this racetrack at the speeds they're running now.
And look, Jeff Green is closed back up on the back bumper of Tommy Houston.
Houston has backed off a little bit from Mike Wallace. This car seems to be running not as quite as well as it was earlier. Tommy Green is now working over the back of his Ford.
Well, Green was trying to get by the 9-car of Mike Wallace and the 72 of Tracy Leslie. That's how Tommy Houston got by. But those cars have driven away from Tommy Houston. So he just, you're right, does not have the handle that he had a couple of laps ago before this last caution play.
Speaking of driving away, Mark Martin is continuing to increase the interval between him and the second-place car of David Green as you watch Houston and Jeff Green in third and fourth. There is Jeff Green. What a great run he had a year ago here. He finished his best Busch Series finish ever. He finished fifth. He can improve on that today by just staying put, but he wants to get a better finish. Right now, he's running in fourth spot.
Somebody.
Yeah, he's been in a little bit of trouble early. That front on his car is banged up a little bit.
Ever see Mike Wallace in the FDP brakes car has backed off and let those guys go.
12 laps to go. Next time by for leader Mark Martin. Once again, Martin is our leader. David Green runs second. They have pulled away. Watching some great battles here. This is Tommy Houston moving beneath the Dave Resendez car. He is in third position in the Piggly Wiggly sponsored Ford. And the book on Mark Martin is last year, remember, he ran 14 races. He finished 7 of them. When he finished, he won.
And I tell you what, that 44 car is coming fast.
Yes, he is. He is moving in. Now, whether it's because he ran up behind Robert Preston, but Preston didn't hold him up there very much. But David Green is definitely gaining right now.
It's about 15, 20 car lengths.
But there's just 10 laps to go if you have enough time.
And we see Mark Martin just went out of the frame. The picture. Robert Preston moves over, lets him go.
Robert Presley is running in the 13th position. Now there are just 12 cars in the lead lap.
And there's Mark Martin, our leader, as we are less than 10 laps from the conclusion of the Goodings 250 here at Bristol International Raceway. Clean racetrack now separates the lead 2 cars. Martin in a Ford in the car number 60. That's the Winn-Dixie colors right there. And Martin looking out his front window sees the lap car of Jason Keller in front of him about 20 car lengths ahead. Right behind him, if he looks out the rearview mirror, as here's heavy traffic here in the third and fourth place cars, and they're working heavy traffic once again. Jeff Green,
he's going to try it on the outside. He goes in the corner now. If he can catch Houston behind, oh, and he almost hit the wall.
Yes, he did. He got up there in that loose stuff, similar to what Kevin LePage did, and it almost cost him.
Harry Gant locked in a tight battle with Larry Pearson. Pearson in the Stanley Tools car, the Mannheim Auctions green machine of Harry Gant.
And Hermie Sadler has a flat tire going down the back straightaway. Oh!
And Robert Presley could not slow down and miss him in time. And he hits the wall. The caution is out.
And Robert Presley hit it almost head on. In front of that budget gourmet car, shortened by about 4.5 to 5 feet.
And look at Hermie Sadler. He had banged the wall. We had not seen that. He had banged the wall with the entire right side of his car.
Don Beverly owned machine of Hermie Sadler, car number 25.
Drew takes a look, and I said, I think they're going to forget about working on this car because there's only, well, they got to work on it, got to get off pit road. And there's Robert Presley's car, the budget gourmet.
As you said, Jerry, he hit that wall almost head on when he shot over through there. He ran in on Hermie Sadler so fast that he could not get stopped, and he couldn't make a move to dodge him and hit him, and just shot Robert right straight in the wall.
10th caution flag today, guys. The point standings, think about what's going to happen, and now we get to see Robert climb out there. He fortunately climbs out, looks to be okay. Here again, and we're looking for the black car of Hermie Sadler that was slowing. Apparently Hermie had already tagged the wall.
Now, this is Robert Presley banging the wall, and we see Dale Jarrett almost hit him. Harry Gant goes above him.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett got a piece of him because the front end of his car is banged up. And Harry Gant did make a great move. Let's watch it again. Here is Larry Pearson down on the inside of Gant, but Gant goes all the way up the wall. They just split it. Pearson goes on the inside. Gant goes high.
here we see Hermie Sadler. Now he's hit the wall, and here the guards are going by him. And watch Robert Preston.
Robert just ran up on him so fast and tried to cut to the right, got a little bit of a piece of him. It shot him straight in the wall.
I don't need him. I'd been better off running the back of the 25 car.
Caution for the 10th time today. Heavy impact with the concrete here at Thunder Valley. Can Mark Martin hold on? We'll let you know in just a moment. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, the Goodies 250, 248 laps are complete. The 10th caution flag today brought out a tough break for Hermie Sadler in the Virginia's for Lovers Chevrolet, the Don Beverly-owned car. He had a problem. And, of course, the car number 99 trying to avoid him. Robert Presley tags it the wall head-on up in turn 3.
So what did Dale Jarrett hit, Ned?
I think he hit Presley. When Presley came back down across the track, he just barely. I think that's what happened. It was in that skirmish over there where he got involved.
Well, this race is going to finish under the caution flag, folks, because the Mark Martin is going to get the white flag as he comes by this time. There it is. So that is our winner, Mark Martin.
And Mark Martin will win for the second time in a row from the pole. Now, you can't run out of gas, which he won't, of course. And I don't think he'll hit anything on this last half mile. Of course, he's been dodging bullets all day long. Tommy Houston pulls up alongside Mark Martin. Tommy looks like he thought the race was over, but Tommy better stay out there for one more lap.
Yeah, that reminds me of Cale Yarborough.
Daytona,
when Richard Petty won his 200. There was a couple of laps to go, and Cale drove in the pits.
And who ended up finishing second?
I finished fourth. I think he beat me. I think I finished fourth that day. But here comes Mark Martin. He's coming. What's he doing?
He's coming down pit road. Wait a minute, Mark. The race is not over.
And Mark
Martin pulled in. David Green was winning this race.
David Green is going to win the race as Mark Martin has pulled down pit road.
I don't believe it.
Have you ever seen a situation? I mean, the white flag was waving so clearly.
Remember Daytona when Cale and Richard had that wonderful battle to the line for the caution flag on the white flag, and Cale pulled down pit road? Remember we told you Mark Martin had a radio problem, radio coming in and out. He probably could not hear the crew, and he's trying to talk now to the crew as he pulls back on the racetrack. And David Green will get his second career Busch Grand National victory.
And David's not taking any chances. He's going to run another lap just to make sure.
And so is Tommy Houston.
Does Santa Claus come in March or April?
We're in April today.
Isn't that something? David Green. You know, it's the race finishes under caution, but Green is coming, gaining on Mark Martin. So is Tommy Houston. Martin pulls behind the wall. Now, actually, he was headed to Victory Lane. His Victory Lane here at Bristol was right down out of turn 4, so he was headed to where he was supposed to go, to the gas pumps for the NASCAR inspection, but just a little bit early.
He was about 300 yards short. Just a good 4-iron or something, Benny, for you.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, I wonder who's going to have the opportunity to talk to Mark Martin. It's just going to be Kyle or John.
Well, Kyle Petty's headed to get back in his mellow yellow Pontiac for tomorrow for the practice. And we'll, of course, have our live flag-to-flag coverage tomorrow. But what a finish. And there's Mark Martin from inside the car. What a great run today, hanging on in the Winn-Dixie Ford. We thought he was going to be able to win 2 in a row.
He jumps out, and there he goes.
He'll say, I just messed up.
What, the NASCAR, the Busch official goes up and starts talking to him, and that's Chip Warren.
Yep, he just messed up, because the white flag, we saw it plainly on the screen. The white flag and the yellow were waving very clearly. And
hey, John, ask if he believes in Santa Claus.
Well, David Green has pulled it into victory lane, and I tell you what, he looks like he has the most surprised look on his face as he climbs out. The flash is flashed from the still photographers. And David, this isn't December 25th, is it? Seems like Christmas, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. You know, our luck's been, I kept telling myself last 20 laps, please, Lord, let there not be a caution, you know. And the dang caution flew, and I said, oh, darn, we're going to finish second. I don't know what happened, Mark. But I think we were going to get him if we had a shot. But it's a tough way to win one, but we've been awful close a lot of times.
What went through your mind when you saw Mark pull off and you all still didn't complete another lap?
I thought I hadn't seen the checkered yet, you know, but I stayed out on the track to make sure, you know, and I stayed out another one to make sure, but I don't know, the Slim Jim Chevrolet ran good. The Goodyear tires were great. Carl Wagner built us half a motor. Thanks to my spotter, Bobby, you know, he taught me all the way through that thing.
Yeah, it was a tough race, a lot of action. How close were you to most of it?
Well, the lap cars, you know, as usual, was close, but it's tough here at Bristol and close all the time, but the car was awful good and the guys did a good job.
All right, David Green celebrating the victory here at Bristol, and guys, I guess it's my job to go find Mark Martin.
And good luck, John. Get it over to talk to Mark Martin, who's going to be in a hurry to get in his Winston Cup car. Of course, that was our split fire winner's circle interview down there with David Green picking up his second career victory. It has been 3 years since the young man has gone to victory lane. He did it back in April of '91 at Lanier Raceway. Back in a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, probably the most unusual conclusion to an event I've seen in a long time here in the Goodies 250 NASCAR Busch Series event. Now, here just moments ago, Ned, Mark Martin had dominated the race and was up front and had to coast around to get the checkered flag.
Yeah, all he had to do was go to the start-finish line. Tommy Houston had pulled up to congratulate him. Here comes Tracy Leslie up on the outside. He's pulling up there to congratulate him. Maybe it broke his concentration. And he said, okay, I've won this thing. I need to get to victory lane.
Well, in fairness to Mark, ordinarily they're not running that slow. You know, when the race is over, they slow down and the fans wave and the other drivers pull up alongside and wave to you. And that's so he had already been waved to by a couple of drivers. The fans were congratulating him. He's waving to the people as he comes by and pulls down and heads to victory lane behind pit wall here out of turn 4. Meanwhile, the checkered flag is waving and the crew saying, Mark, what happened?
Yep, they don't know what to do or what to say.
That's Christian Lovendahl, one of the Roush members, and John Kernan has been looking for Mark Martin. John?
Well, I caught up with him. Mark is changing to his Valvoline Winston Cup suit, tying his shoe there. And Mark, I tell you, I've never seen anything like that. I guess, well, Kel Yarborough back when Richard Petty won his 200, but he was in second at that point. What happened?
I can't believe anybody else would be that stupid.
So what? When
listen, man, I've been pulling for David Green to win really hard, but that's not like that. That's the stupidest thing ever done. There's nothing else I can say. I thought the race was over. Those guys pulled up beside of me waving, and I swear I thought I saw Houston come down pit road. I thought it was over.
Dinner will be ready at 5.
Now all that's left's tomorrow's race.
Yeah, let me ask you about how you feel. How's your neck feel?
Fine. That was
piece of cake.
That was a piece of cake. I wish we could do 500 right now. I got to go out there and redeem myself now.
Has Jack? I know Jack was up on the radio. Did he say anything to you?
He was coming down. He didn't even see it. And Steve said something. Man, I just messed up. I thought it was over. And Winn-Dixie team did everything right, man. They were fast on pit road and had a great race car, but we'll have to get the next one.
Well, I tell you what, Mark, if Jack says anything to you, remind him about the gas calculation a few years ago.
He won't say anything. Everybody feels sorry for somebody when they do something that stupid.
Thank you, Mark. Guys,
I tell you, John, it takes a real man to be able to smile on camera and say, man, was I ever dumb. I'll never believe a move like that. What a finish in Bristol, Tennessee. Back with more after this. Last lap here at Bristol, Tennessee. Mark Martin pulls in. David Green takes the victory. Our full field rundown here. The young man gets his second Busch Series win. He wins it. Tommy Houston gets his best finish of the year. Jeff Green at best career Busch Series finish. Dale Jarrett comes from way in the back to get a top 5. And Larry Pearson finishes 5th.
6th through 10th are Jim Bound, the good run here today. Harry Gant, 7th. Derek Cope in 8th. Mark Martin wound up in 9th place after that little goof up. And Phil Parsons came home 10th.
Back in 11th position, Rodney Combs, Tracy Leslie, Jason Keller. Mike Wallace was 14th, and Ricky Craven finishes 15th.
16th through 20th are Bobby Dotter, Dennis Setzer, Hermie Sadler, Robert Presley, and Kenny Wallace.
Back in 21st spot, Dirk Stevens, Northwest Tour champ from a year ago, Dave Resendez, Tim Fedewa, Chad Little, and Morgan Shepherd, who parked it because of an alternator problem.
And most of these cars finishing this far back were out of the race or either had been behind the wall for a long time. 26th through 30th were Kevin LePage, Randy LaJoy, Ronald Cooper, Tom Peck, and Johnny Benson Jr.
Back in 31st spot, Joe Bessie, Richard Lassiter 32nd, Terry Labonte was 33rd, Roy Payne 34th, and Chad Chapin in 35th. And Shauna Robinson finishes in 36th position. Top 10 in points. What a scramble we've got up front now. Randy LaJoie hangs on, but look at David Green catapulted up the second spot in the point standings. Kenny Wallace back to third. Hermie Sadler is fourth, and Robert Presley holds on to fifth spot. 6 through 10, Ricky Craven, Tracy Leslie, former point leader Terry Labonte, Larry Pearson moving up a little bit, and Bobby Donner will take 10th spot. Saturday Night Thunder coming up tonight, debuting from Ventura, California, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and what a show that'll be on the short tracks in California. Talking about a short track show, back to Thunder Valley tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Can Ernie Irvin win his third of the year? Look at Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace, the two drivers who won here a year ago. Live flag-to-flag coverage, 500 laps right here at Bristol, Tennessee. Remember, coming up next, the semifinals from Amelia Island, the Bosch and Lom tennis, coming up next here on ESPN. Once again, on behalf of Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Kyle Petty, and John Kernan, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating David Green on his second career Busch Grand National Series victory and saying so long from Bristol International Raceway.